Hi, folks. Welcome to another Fitness Friday Positives with Rachelle. Last time, I kicked off the important series on choosing happiness. And this time, I want to continue this conversation on how important happiness is to your fitness success. And folks, actually, this past week, had the sad opportunity to say goodbye to a wonderful family that's leaving Novi, returning back to Japan, the Hara family, H-A-R-A, the Hara family, and gave me a thank you card. And actually, Noriko, the wife, makes Chinese calligraphy, and she designed this book card for me. And it essentially says, keep smiling, and the door to happiness will be open to you. So she said, in essence, keep smiling and happiness will keep coming to you, because I always am known to be smiling and am certainly known to be happy. And folks, it certainly made me smile, and I'm certainly very happy. But yet another person recognized, the Hara family recognized my commitment to choosing happiness in each and every aspect of my life. But folks, thinking about happiness, that is certainly something I'm very passionate about, every aspect of life. If you watch me on Non-Fitness Fridays, and I've actually got another series coming up here soon on Non-Fitness Fridays on the fear of change. Kicked off the year talking about the process of change. We're going to be talking about moving forward, few episodes on the fear of change. So I want you to be happy, but happiness is always a journey. There's process, there's often fear, worries, anxieties, insecurities that block people from moving forward to choose happiness. So stay tuned on Non-Fitness Fridays for that. But folks, when it comes to happiness in my fitness journey, happiness is so ingrained in me as a person. I'm just hardwired for happiness. And actually, Saturday morning, March 24th at the Planet Fitness, which I call the PF Commerce Country Club. Actually, a guy named Bill approached me as I was walking to stretch by the weight machines area, and he says, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I wanted to know, my name is Bill, and I just wanted to know if I can call you the happy girl." And I said, "Sir," senior citizen, older gentleman, I said, "Sir, absolutely. You're welcome to call me the happy girl anytime. No problem with that." And so I'll talk about the importance of confidence and authenticity next time here as it relates to happiness. But just wanted you to recognize, when you are happy, people know it. It shows. You don't have to convince anyone that you're happy. It shows. But you've got to believe that you deserve to be happy. Going back to Dr. Phil's comment. And folks, I know in the last episode I talked about my happiest Planet Fitness moment. And that happened actually during a recent trip here. I was in Louisiana, back in Shreveport, for a couple of weeks. And I saw those standard size stretching mats. And folks, to reemphasize, perhaps if you missed last week's edition, I was so happy when I saw those standard size stretching mats. I was so happy. I cannot emphasize that enough. It was just such a happy moment, because stretching is certainly something that hasn't always been as important, but certainly is important to me when I saw those stretching mats. Because, for those of you who don't know, and I mentioned it last time, Planet Fitness has these very small stretching mats, and if you watch me long enough, you knew at Powerhouse I kind of had some of those moments, some of those funny moments. And I'll tell you, the first time, and I was actually at Planet Fitness in Novi at the time, but they all had these small stretching mats. They are different colors, but they're all small. And the first time I saw those stretching mats, some of you remember, I would have those John Quinones moments. And I know when the first time I saw those stretching mats at Planet Fitness, I looked at the door, I glanced around, I'm like, is John Quinones about to come in here? Am I going to be on a fitness or a gym edition of What Would You Do? Like, what would Rachelle do when she sees these, like, kitty-sized stretching mats? Like, but anyway, folks, it was a funny moment. But so I saw those stretching mats in Shreveport, and I was so happy. But anyway, folks, I wanted to remind you, particularly this time, and that was a key lesson, a key takeaway from last time, that happiness, particularly in fitness, where you find it and how you find it, may surprise you. All right. And so when you think about, and perhaps you want to do this, or you want to go to this location, or you want to work with this trainer, or you want to go to this group fitness class, you may have in your mind that this is going to make me happy. This is where it's going to be. This is how it's going to work. And you may ultimately not end up being happy in that situation. Of course, change is going to be required, but you can't be afraid of change. But you've got to be willing to take steps to move forward in the right direction, because you've got to have an open mind to think that happiness can perhaps exist in somewhere other than where you are right now. I can tell you that emphatically. If you're struggling, if you're unhappy, if you're dreading getting up, going to the gym or going to the studio, wherever you may be working with the trainer, I can tell you, change is needed. You do not have to endure life being miserable, being unhappy. Change is required, but it's up to you to make those necessary changes. But you've got to have an open mind. And that's an example. Okay, I've been in a number of Planet Fitness locations, particularly toured a number of them before I became a member in 2017. And that was the first time I saw standard size stretching mats in any of those facilities. They have these really small ones, but the Shreveport location actually had the standard size stretching mat. So it was just great to see. But yet again, happiness and where you find it and just little things like that will surprise you. And speaking of being happiness or finding happiness in a place that's particularly off the beaten path, I had an opportunity to go to the Planet Fitness Milford, Michigan location on Sunday, March 18th. Now, Sunday's typically my rest day because I honor the Sabbath, but I traded my Sunday for my Monday. So traded both those days and had a fantastic workout. Speaking of finding happiness, and just folks, when I saw those 4 water rowers, I mean the same water rowers you will find at Orange Theory Fitness, and their memberships run about $100, $150 a month for those classes. Saw these awesome water rowers in that facility. Was very, very impressed. Wonderful layout. Sarah was holding it down up front and was mopping on my way out. Very comfortably compliant facility. I could sense that right away. I mean, there's just trust there. There's just, members at ease, employees at ease. It was just wonderful to see. And actually, they've got glass doors that partition off the black card member area, and I thought that was very nice. It creates a very elusive feel in terms of if you want to come back here and get your black card membership. I really like to see that. Certainly, finally, on my way out, I saw a whiteboard, and Scott, the trainer, I saw the information. Actually, he wrote down that he would be unavailable on Monday and Tuesday, the 19th and 20th of March, and I thought that was a best practice because there's oftentimes, particularly in larger gyms, higher volume gyms, there's a lot of confusion of where's the trainer? Is the trainer in today? What time did the trainer be here today? There's just all that confusion. I thought that was the best practice for him to be proactive and let folks know, like, hey, on these 2 days, I'll be out. I'll be back on Wednesday. So it was great to see that. And so you've got to be open. You've got to be open in terms of where happiness. And I saw those rowers in Powerhouse Gym in Novi. They had non-water rowers. And they had a couple of those. And I hadn't seen rowers, been in a gym where I've worked out, where I had the opportunity to use rowers since I left Powerhouse. So I was so excited in the village of Milford, Michigan, very, very small little area, to see those 4 water rowers. So happiness and just things like that will surprise you where you find these golden jewels and golden nuggets. So folks, you gotta be open. And certainly when I think about happiness, when I think about the Planet Fitness Commerce Country Club, which is my home club, folks, I am so excited because I have different idiosyncrasies like we all do. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and certainly a weakness of mine I'm not ashamed to share is it is known that I can be forgetful sometimes, and I leave things behind, and it's often said that, don't buy Rachelle something really expensive because chances are she's going to lose it. And part of that is, particularly in a situation where I'm leaving a business, I'm leaving an event or something like that, I'm typically in a hurry, and so I'm not always the most conscientious when it comes to making sure I have all of my items and all of my belongings. I've left my iPad at the Novi library, and actually this past week, my prize, I've had this for 4 years now. I actually got this was a Christmas present 4 years ago. My prize LSU windbreaker. I actually was to put it on a last Friday morning and didn't have it, and I'm thinking, where's my windbreaker? What is this? I have 3 of them, but they're different styles, but this one's my favorite. Where is my windbreaker? Couldn't find it at home, so I called PF Commerce, the club, and Tanisha answered the phone, and I told her, and she said, oh, is it the one you always wear? And I said, yeah. She said, yeah, I remember that. It was on the bike rack, and I said, oh, okay, that lets me know I probably dropped it on the way to the car, rushing to my car to leave. And so, but I appreciated that. I mean, she was very conscientious. She remembered exactly what happened with us. Yeah, we got it. It's here. Yeah, I'll be in shortly. So, whatever. And so when I came in, she had it for me. So I certainly appreciated that, having and being reunited with my favorite gym windbreaker. So that's certainly an example. And so when we think about, happiness, you've got to think about what works for you, what's important to you, what's not important to you. And folks, particularly for those of you in leadership roles, you got to recognize, and that's why it's important to do surveys, member surveys, walk around, talk to your members, send them emails, call them up, solicit feedback, because there's certain things, and that regardless of facility, that's going to be important, particularly from a customer service standpoint, like attentiveness and how engaging is your staff and things like that. And when I think about Josh at PF Commerce, that's certainly a strength of his, is he's very attentive. Like he sees you come in or he sees you standing there, he reacts. And I think that's something that's certainly important. I mean, everyone's attentive, but certainly that's certainly a strength of his. And so when I think about cleaning is something, when you look at different reviews, when you look at complaints that people have about all types of facilities, cleaning is huge. And so you as a gym goer, you as a fitness facility or club member have to determine how important is cleanliness to you, because there's some places that if you're complaining every day about how nasty your facility is, about how it's unclean and people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, then folks, you have a problem that needs to be addressed. Perhaps if that's something you can speak with someone about it, or you can find a different location that's cleaner. And that's certainly something that I appreciate about Planet Fitness, is their commitment to cleanliness. And I'm just so impressed by the work ethic that I see with folks cleaning and making sure, regardless of facility, just they do a fantastic job of keeping their, just not only the bathrooms clean, but also just the facility in general. And when I think about, again, my own club and the overnights, there's a couple of days a week typically that I will shift my workouts to earlier. So I'm there between about 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And so one thing that I've consistently seen, I'm very big on consistency in a facility. One thing I've consistently seen in those early morning hours is Tony and Jason cleaning. I mean, they're the overnight front desk folks, but folks regularly, I mean, always cleaning something, taking out the trash, mopping the floor, vacuuming, wiping machines down, taking care of something in the bathroom. I mean, that's just wonderful to see, because in all of my 24 years almost of my fitness journey coming up here soon in May, I've never seen an early morning person consistently cleaning. And we've got a couple that do a fantastic job of that. So you've got to think about what's important to you. If cleaning is something that's important to you, the cleanliness of a facility, you're never seeing anyone cleaning, then okay, you have your answer. You've got to make a decision about what you're going to do. And to find happiness, which may be a clean facility, a large facility, whatever the case may be, determine what works for you. And so, folks, I want to wrap up with something, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus here for a minute. Let me put this here off to the side. And that is, we received a Black Card member. Now, Planet Fitness has two, again, talking about happiness, Planet Fitness has two levels of membership. The basic membership, or the classic membership is what they call it now, the $10 membership, which is advertised heavily. But also there is the Black Card membership, which is $21.99 a month. Okay, and certainly a strength of Planet Fitness is they are relentless about seeking feedback about just membership, how you're experiencing your club, and what you think about this, and what you think about that. Do a fantastic job of that. So send an email I got on February 9th, about 5:30ish in the afternoon, stating, hey, this is a survey, exclusive survey for Black Card members. And it was a 5-question survey, and I wrote down the questions, but I wanted to make sure, because essentially this is a quote that came through one of the questions, and I wanted to make sure to have it worded correctly. So the 5 is short survey, but question number 5 was very interesting. And it said, how much do you think your PF Black Card membership is worth per month? Choice A, $20 and under. Choice B, $21 to $25. And choice C, over $25. Now, I will confess to you, because like I said, I have to be objective, whatever. There's Rachelle, the gym goer, but there's also Rachelle, the consultant, speaker, and trainer. And I answered that question C, over $25. Because quite frankly, folks, in my opinion, again, not only as a gym goer, but also as a consultant and all of that, Planet Fitness provides a remarkable amount of value for what they charge. And I really feel that they are not charging enough. And that's certainly something, they raised the price the fourth quarter of 2017. So it went from $19.99 a month to $21.99. And I hope they continue to raise prices to be on par with some of their peers in terms of what they're charging. But they provide a remarkable amount of value. They give a lot away. It's just a very generous franchise, very promotions-driven franchise. But I think that's just something, they've got to raise the prices. There's just... And I'm sure that I was probably the only person out of thousands of responses received. I'm sure I was the only one that voted that they need to raise the price. I mean, that's just how I feel. And like I said, Rachelle the gym goer has to be separate from Rachelle the consultant. And sometimes I have to vote against my own best interest of paying less money. But I really feel that they need to. It's worth every penny. It's worth a lot more than what they're charging now. And I'm glad they are starting to see that. And now it's publicly traded since 2015, and I'm glad to see them in the shareholders and things like that. There's a level, certainly a different level of accountability, and we're starting to see this. And I'll talk more about that in future episodes. But folks, you got to be happy. But think about it. If I were unhappy, if I were miserable, if I was displeased with Planet Fitness, would I have voted? Would I have stated, hey, you folks need to raise the price? Choice C, over $25. All right, I think they should be at 35, between 35 and 40 a month, quite frankly. But folks, think about your happiness. If you were to receive a survey like that, based on how happy you are, how likely you are to recommend it to your friends and family, how would you answer that? If your answer is in the negative, then you need to make changes. You need to find a facility. You need to find a franchise. You need to find a YMCA or a studio or a trainer or a group fitness class that is worthy of you determining, hey, this provides so much value, I'm willing to pay more money than what I'm paying right now, folks. That's how it should be. So choose happiness. It is not elusive. It is within your reach. I look forward to discussing or continuing this conversation and discussing next time the importance of confidence and authenticity and happiness in regard to fitness. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderfully good day.